At the time, I was still a beginner. Not inexperienced in skill, but inexperienced in scale. Not as an observer, as part of the delivery, a large institution. The kind of client that doesn't adjust expectations based on how long you've been in the field. I had no doubts about my technical abilities. I trusted my skills. What I didn't yet understand was how much experience matters when pressure enters the room. The project started strong. Results came quickly. Problems were solved. People began to rely on my work. It felt like recognition, like progress. I believed I was ready. What I didn't fully register at the time was that responsibility had quietly expanded along with confidence. Once I arrived, everything changed. Instead of focusing on knowledge transfer, my company assigned me full regression test execution. Years of automation. Systems built long before I joined. I was responsible for them, without having built them. What had felt manageable from a distance became opaque up close. Failures appeared. Not in isolation, in sequence. Signals without context. Results without explanation. The test suite kept running, and it kept reporting problems I couldn't yet interpret. Time compressed. Knowledge transfer sessions ran in parallel. Deadlines stayed fixed. Expectations didn't adjust. There was no space to fall behind, only space to continue. Most of the struggle stayed invisible. Nearby, someone sat who didn't need to intervene. He didn't supervise closely. Occasionally, he would ask how things were progressing. Not sharply, not impatiently. Calm questions, delivered without urgency. And that was enough. Because the silence between those moments carried its own weight. What hurt wasn't the technical difficulty. It was the contrast. Before this, people relied on me. They trusted my output. Now, I had nothing. No results. No clarity. I felt like I had disappointed everyone, and I didn't know what would happen next. Eventually, not speaking became harder than saying the wrong thing. So I addressed it. Directly. Without justification. I described what I could see, and what I couldn't yet explain. I didn't protect the image I had built earlier. I protected the truth instead. Then something shifted. He didn't escalate it. He didn't step away. He pulled up a chair and sat next to me. For the next half hour, the pressure in the room changed. Not because the problem disappeared, but because it was no longer carried alone. There was no impatience, no performance, just calm attention and a clear way forward. What stayed with me wasn't only the help, it was the contrast. For years, I had heard him described in narrow terms. From a distance, authority had been framed as something rigid. Sitting next to him, that image dissolved. There was no hostility, no defensiveness. Just a person fully aware of the responsibility he carried and willing to meet it directly. That moment recalibrated how I understand leadership. Not as control, not as distance, but as presence when pressure concentrates. Real authority doesn't withdraw when things become uncertain. It moves closer. Not to protect status, but to stabilize the system around it. Because leadership isn't measured by how problems are delegated. It's revealed by what happens when responsibility has nowhere else to go.